Part 16. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 151. Zhang Chen and Gu Shufang, one drawing and the other looking, said nothing. Downstairs, Kejin and the others had just come back from get off work. Xiaolin came back with them. The three of them were singing Queen's Road East in the patio downstairs. Kejin and the others took out their dirty clothes and washed them while singing. Xiaolin helped them use tin buckets to carry water from the well. After carrying the water, he sang and watched them wash clothes, waiting to continue carrying water. Queen's Road West turns to Queen's Road East, Queen's Road East turns to Queen's Road Central. Why is there no royal palace on Queen's Road East, and Queen's Road is full of people? The three of them sang quietly at first. While singing, they looked up from time to time upstairs, but they never found Gu Shufang. The three of them sang more energetically and louder. Gu Shufang wanted to stand up and go to the door to have a look. She found that Zhang Chen was concentrating on painting and seemed not to be affected by them at all. She gave up and continued to sit. The three of them sang for nearly an hour. By the end, they were singing almost randomly, playing a singing game. Kejin and the others just picked up a tune, and Xiaolin followed. They immediately changed to another song, and Xiaolin quickly followed. Kejin and the others immediately changed to another song, Xiaolin followed again, and they changed again. Xiaolin was driven around by them, and he was in a panic. Zhang Chen heard their singing one after another. When he heard it, he smiled slightly. The three of them laughed while singing. After Kejin and the others finished washing their clothes, the three of them finally got tired of singing and had fun today. They looked up at the stairs, but there was still no sign of Gu Shufang. The three of them laughed wildly. Xiaolin went upstairs and reached the door of his room. He saw the door of the office opposite was open and the lights were on. Zhang Chen was standing there drawing. Xiaolin felt curious and walked over to take a look. When he arrived at the door of the office, he saw Gu Shufang. Xiaolin was startled and quickly ran away with his thighs between his hands. Zhang Chen didn't even know that Xiaolin had come to the office door. Gu Shufang sat there and made almost no movement. Zhang Chen quickly forgot that there was such a person behind him until almost 11 o'clock, Gu Shufang stood up. She still made no sound when walking. When she passed by Zhang Chen, she softly said thank you. Zhang Chen was startled by her. Zhang Chen watched Gu Shufang's figure disappear outside the door and shook his head. However, Zhang Chen didn't find it strange. Many people really liked watching others draw. When Zhang Chen used to draw advertisements, he would do it almost every day. There were a few familiar faces standing under the scaffolding or across the road, watching him paint for hours. Wasn't Zhang Chen himself such an obsessed person who liked to watch other people draw at the beginning? Zhang Chen worked for 4 nights in a row, drawing until past 12 o'clock every day. He completed a set of 5 renderings, one was the hotel's exterior design, one was the hotel lobby, and one was the hotel's interior design. Swimming pool and gardens, as well as a restaurant and a guest room. On the 4th night, Gu Shufang sat there without leaving first. Instead, she waited until Zhang Chen finished painting and took the drawing off the drawing board. When he turned around, he found that she was still sitting there. Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment. Asked without saying anything. "Accountant Gu, what do you think of my design?" Zhang Chen asked as he put several renderings into the folder together. It was obvious that he had no sincerity in asking the other party for advice. If you are sincere, you should at least take out all the renderings so that others can take a good look at them. Gu Shufang was very serious. She didn't pay attention to what Zhang Chen was asking, but was thinking about what she should say. Over the past few nights, although she had done nothing or said nothing, she felt that she seemed to be in a relationship with Zhang Chen. Chen is working on this together, and this design was completed by the two of them. Many times, When she watched Zhang Chen painting, she would think about what should be here and what should be there. She felt that the shape of the swimming pool should not be regular, but should be made into an irregular shape according to the terrain. When Zhang Chen drew it, it was indeed irregular. She thought that the place where the room connected to the balcony should be a large floor-to-ceiling glass that could be fully opened. As expected, Zhang Chen designed it like this. When Zhang Chen finished painting the huge glass door, Gu Shufang thought, it would be great if they used the bamboo curtains from their hometown. Putting them down can block wind, rain, insects, and prevent the indoor air conditioning from escaping. No need to close the glass door. The bamboo curtain can be fully rolled or half rolled. You can see the complete sea and blue sky, or you can only see the sea and leave the sky on the bamboo curtain. After Zhang Chen finished drawing the floor-to-ceiling glass, he stood there with his hands folded in front of his chest, seeming to be thinking. Gu Shufang looked at his back from behind, and his left arm spread like two branches. With two paint brushes, she felt like her heart was about to jump out of her head with nervousness. Zhang Chen likes this when he is thinking, holding his hands in front of his chest, holding two paint brushes between the index finger, and ring finger of his right hand. Gu Shufang tried her best to control herself and did not tell Zhang Chen her thoughts. When Zhang Chen started writing again, Gu Shufang heard a scream in her heart. Her face turned crimson, her whole body was trembling slightly with excitement, and her eyes were moist. If Zhang Chen turned around at this time, she would really don't know what to do. He really used the bamboo curtain here. How did he know what he was thinking? She saw Zhang Chen draw a falling bamboo curtain outside the huge glass, and then drew the bamboo curtain on the left as half rolled. Then Gu Shufang saw Zhang Chen draw the bamboo curtain in the middle. She almost screamed again, but Zhang Chen was more considerate than her. It turned out that the bamboo curtain could be supported. When the bamboo curtain is propped up, it becomes an awning, covering the top of the balcony. It not only blocks the sun, but also protects your privacy. You can sit under the bamboo curtain and look at the sea unrestrainedly. How smart! Gu Shufang sighed. Zhang Chen then drew two beach chairs on the balcony. This is easy to understand. When the glass door is opened, the indoor and outdoor areas are actually integrated. The beach chairs allow you to comfortably enjoy the scenery and sea breeze outside. The bamboo above your head curtains have replaced parasols. Wait, what else are you doing? Gu Shufang straightened her long neck and looked at the paintbrush behind Zhang Chen. Unknowingly, she had quietly moved the seat of her chair several times until she could see the entire painting and Zhang Chen's painting. Rear side. Zhang Chen was drawing on paper, leaning against the floor-to-ceiling glass, and soon a bathtub appeared. Haha, this is too bold and romantic, right? You can soak in the bathtub and look at the sea or starry sky outside. What kind of person is this to have such exquisite thoughts? Gu Shufang imagined that if she were in the bathtub, looking out the window at the dark sea and the stars in the sky, listening to the waves lingering on the beach, and the sea breeze bringing distant greetings, gently brushing against her snow-white skin, what would it be like? What kind of experience and comfort? Her face was red and her heart was pounding. Gu Shufang couldn't help but look at the person painting a few more times instead of the painting. When Gu Shufang saw Zhang Chen put down the last stroke and completed all the paintings, she felt as if she was exhausted. Although it was impossible, she still stubbornly believed that she had been sweating profusely just now. After walking such a long way and finally arriving at the destination, after such a long time, she finally completed this matter. Gu Shufang then breathed a sigh of relief. Although it was only 4 nights, Gu Shufang felt that it had lasted for many years. Someone painted with a brush what she had always wanted to express but could not express. Someone seemed to understand what was hidden in her heart without using words. All said. If you don't say anything. When Zhang Chen asked her how she was doing, Gu Shufang thought for a while and said softly, if there is such a hotel, I will stay there. Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment, and then he realized that this was a compliment. Zhang Chen quickly said thank you. You're welcome. Gu Shifang stood up as she said that, paused for a while, and then said, I should thank you. As Gu Shifang spoke, her tears flowed down uncontrollably, and she hurried out of the door. This time, not only did she make a sound when she walked, but she also made a sound when going up the stairs. Zhang Chen also heard the sound of her closing the door. Baffling. Although Zhang Chen felt something strange about her, he didn't understand and shook his head. After finishing the work, Zhang Chen felt that he was very hungry. He was too lazy to go to Binya village, so he walked downstairs, walked out of the door, out of the alley, and then walked to Wenming East Road. Here was still a lively and noisy world with all kinds of things. All kinds of delicacies are available. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 152. Zhang Chen carried the painting folder on his back. When he arrived at the construction site, Urquo was already squatting at the door of the office smoking. It was Mr. Tan who asked him to come and get the renderings. Urquo said to Zhang Chen, Instructor, I won't talk to you today. It's time urgent, Uncle Tan is waiting for me in the office. Zhang Chen smiled, where the hell did you learn the words, and you still have a heart-to-heart relationship? When did I have a heart-to-heart relationship with you? Can we have a heart-to-heart relationship? Zhang Chen handed the picture folder to Huo and told him, you should leave quickly. Okay, instructor, I'll leave right away. I'm going to take this thing back and frame it. Once it's framed, we're going to Sanya right away, said the second-hand guy. Are you going to? Zhang Chen asked. Yes, Lao Tan asked me to go to the construction site to take a look. He said that in the future, I might be in charge of the place. Well, instructor, I will be in Sanya for most of the time in the future. It would be great if you could also open up a new one. Territory. Zhang Chen knew what Huo meant by the new territory and cursed, then you should go find Lu Ligan, he is your good partner. He's useless. He's here, but he can't help me take the bullet in front of Lao Tan. You can do that if you're here. Zhang Chen continued to curse, damn it, why do you sound so mean? It's not that you're mean, it's that Mr. Tan trusts you. He will believe whatever you say, Urquo said with a smile. Zhang Chen understood that this idiot, no matter what, was still the most trusted person by Mr. Tan. Sanya was so far away from Heiken's company, and there was no one he trusted and obeyed. He really didn't know what would happen. No matter what happens at the cargo management construction site, there will be no big mistakes. The most important thing is that when he reports to Mr. Tan, there will be no water in his words. This will help Mr. Tan grasp the truth. Mr. Tan also has another consideration that even Zhang Chen has not thought of, that is, many of the comrades of Huo's father are still at the Yulin base, and the construction site is near the base. Those comrades will help Huo if anything happens. Bundle. Okay, let's do a good job when we get there. The second guy had already mounted the motorcycle, and Zhang Chen patted him on the back. The second-rate guy rode away on his motorcycle. Before he reached the gate, he turned back. Zhang Chen thought there was something else, so he stood there waiting for him. The second-rate guy rode up to Zhang Chen, turned around, and faced him sideways. Zhang Chen said to him, Instructor, if I go today, I will see your girlfriend who is pulling pigweeds with you. She was forced to raise her. I will give her a good scolding so that she will feel ashamed and leave you. After the second-rate guy said that, he laughed and left. Zhang Chen was anxious and wanted to say something, but the second-rate guy had already walked out of the door. At around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Jin Lily called Zhang Chen and told him, Dear, we got your design plan and we all like it. Mr. Xia asked me to call you and tell you, thank you. Mr. Xia, what about yourself? Okay, thank you too. Jin Lily smiled. However, whether this plan can be finalized depends on the opinions of the investors. Okay, I understand. As long as you don't change the decoration company, no matter how many opinions you have, I will help Mr. Tan change it to the end, Zhang Chen said. Don't worry, we won't change. Mr. Tan has helped us a lot this time. Let's talk about it when we get back, Jin Lily said. By the way, where are you now? Zhang Chen asked. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Jin Lily said, we rented 2 rooms as offices at Jinling Resort in Daidonghai. I am decorating the office. Do you see who that is? Who is it? Well, forget it, just get busy. Zhang Chen originally wanted to ask Jin Lily if he had seen the second-rate guy, but after hearing Jin Lily's reaction, he knew that Jin Lily had not seen the second-rater yet. Even if he had, Jin Lily probably wouldn't know that this person was the big guy. Rogue. During dinner, Xiao Wu called Zhang Chen and went to the staff cafeteria together. He said he still had to train after eating. Zhang Chen wondered, why hasn't the poll come yet? Zhang Chen has been too busy these days and has not had a good meal with Lu Ligan and Xiao Wu. Today is Saturday, Jin Lily is still in Sanya, and his task has been completed. Zhang Chen originally wanted to relax, but it is already 6. I've ordered too much, but I haven't seen Lu Ligan yet. Brother Ganza won't come, Xiao Wu said. I forgot to tell you, he said he has a date today. Date? Wenwen or Qian? Zhang Chen asked. No, I said it was with someone named Lu. He told me that he was from Peking University. Zhang Chen was surprised. It was Lu Yun. Is this guy hooking up with Lu Yun again? But if he really goes to fall in love with Lu Yun, then it's really worth being happy for him. Lu Yun is a nice person, and the two of them seem to be able to talk to each other. There is such a girl. I don't brag about it. But if he goes there, I don't know if he is dating her. By the way, he is no longer dating Wenwen and Qian. Yes, I slept with them yesterday, Xiao Wu said. Holy shit, this bastard has really become a love interest now. He is spreading love to the world. Almost, he doesn't even talk about how to make money now. He talks to me about this woman and that woman every day. I'm bored to death. Xiao Wu cursed, and the two of them arrived at the staff canteen while talking. They finished eating in the canteen. Zhang Chen had nowhere to go, so he followed Xiao Wu to the place where they practiced. When he got there, Zhang Chen was shocked. He saw the dozen migrant workers, all of whom wore black track pants and a black vest on the upper body. The front of the vest is printed with the word Wei and the back is the word. This formation does not look like boxing, but more like a gang. Xiao Wu asked how Zhang Chen was doing, and Zhang Chen said that the spirit was the spirit, but it just didn't look like practicing boxing. We don't practice boxing, Xiao Wu said. Zhang Chen was surprised. Don't practice boxing. Oh, Brother Chen, I was wrong. We not only practice boxing, but also martial arts, taekwondo and muay thai. Anyway, we can practice whatever is practical, as long as we can knock people down, Xiao Wu said. At that time, the Sanda competition format had just been confirmed, and it was not understood yet, and there was no concept of free fighting. However, what Xiao Wu said actually meant this, but Zhang Chen was confused. When they started fighting in pairs, Zhang Chen finally saw what he saw. He saw that these migrant workers, who had been submissive to him during the day, now looked like wild beasts. Xiao Wu held a whip and kept whipping it on the side. While whipping, he shouted loudly, "Do you accept it? If you don't agree, come and fight me." Those who were whipped shouted loudly, "Submit." After a while, 2 people were beaten with blood on their heads, more people had bruises on their noses and faces, and more than a dozen people were screaming together. The scene was exciting and bloody. Zhang Chen couldn't stand it anymore, so he walked out without even saying hello to Xiao Wu. Zhang Chen returned home and walked to the patio on the first floor. He saw the lights in the office on the second floor were on. When he reached the second floor and just walked to the door of his room, Gu Shufang heard the noise, came out of the office and stood at the door. He asked Zhang Chen anxiously, "How's the design draft going?" Zhang Chen turned around and walked over while talking. He told Gu Shufang that he would be sent to Sanya today. "Have they accepted it and will they start construction?" Gu Shufang asked anxiously, changing from her usual reserve and indifference. Zhang Chen said, "The other company likes it very much." "They must like it," Gu Shufang said. Zhang Chen was amused by her statement. The two people walked into the office and sat down at their respective desks. Zhang Chen asked strangely, "Why do they have to like it?" Gu Shufang almost blurted out, "Because I also participated in the design." Then she immediately realized that this was wrong. She did not actually participate in the design. Even if she did participate in the design, the other party did not necessarily like it. Gu Shufang said somewhat caably, "Because I'm still waiting to live there." Zhang Chen laughed loudly, and Gu Shufang also laughed. Zhang Chen and Gu Shufang said that they still needed to wait for confirmation from the investors. "When will the investors come?" "I can't tell you clearly," Zhang Chen said with a smile, "probably Tuesday." Gu Shufang sighed, "There are still several days." Today, Zhang Chen saw for the first time in such a long time that Gu Shufang looked like a normal person. When she looked like a normal person, she was actually quite good. She was not deep at all, a little arrogant, and even a little naive. The atmosphere in the office became relaxed. Zhang Chen joked with her. "Accountant Gu, you seem to care more about this matter than me." "Of course." After that, Gu Shufang stopped talking. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Niang. Chapter 153. The BB player in Zhang Chen's waist rang. Zhang Chen picked it up and looked at it. It read, "Mr. Fu invites you to have morning tea at the same place tomorrow." Zhang Chen couldn't help but beam with joy when he saw the words "old place" at a glance. Does that mean that he can see Xiao Zhao again tomorrow? Zhang Chen then saw the word morning tea and felt sad again. It was morning tea, not dinner, so this old place was not Xiao Zhao and the others, but Chaozhang Chun. It seems that Xiao Zhao and the others' place is no longer the old place, but a place in the past that Mr. Fu deliberately forgot. What, is there any new news? Gu Shufang kept looking at Zhang Chen attentively, and the fleeting expression on Zhang Chen's face did not escape her eyes. She asked. Zhang Chen shook his head and said it was something else and had nothing to do with this. Gu Shufang bit her lip. After a while, she said, "If they dare to reject this plan, tell me this company." Zhang Chen asked curiously, "What do you want to do?" I'm going. After Gu Shufang said two words of "I'm going," she couldn't find the right words. She was a little anxious. She said, "I'm going to argue with them." What a good design, we can't let them bury it, got it? Zhang Chen pretended to be serious and said, "Okay, I understand. If that happens, I will definitely tell you. I can't bury a master debater." The two people raised their heads, looked at each other, and laughed. Gu Shufang sighed and said, "There are no paintings to see. Why does it feel like time passes so slowly this night?" When Gu Shufang said this, she thought to herself, no wonder so many noble ladies abroad like to ask painters to paint their portraits. It turns out that sitting there and watching someone paint is such an interesting thing and also a way to pass the time. The best way. Zhang Chen felt a little moved when he heard this. He felt that Gu Shufang was not pretending when she said this. She really liked to watch others draw. Zhang Chen looked at the time and saw that it was not yet 9 o'clock. It was indeed too early. In Hiken, time seems to have been delayed. Many people just go out at 10 o'clock in the evening, and the night only starts at that time. On a whim, Jiang Chen was also affected by the current atmosphere in the office and Gu Shufang's sigh. Jiang Chen and Gu Shufang said, "Accountant Gu, how about I draw a painting for you?" Gu Shufang raised her eyebrows, sparks burst out of her eyes, and she exclaimed happily, "Really?" In fact, Jiang Chen regretted it as soon as he said it. He felt that he was looking for trouble for nothing. But at this time, he could only bite the bullet and nodded and said, "Really?" Gu Shufang hesitated for a moment, and then said, "It's better not to give up, such an ugly person." Jiang Chen quickly shook his head and said, "You are actually very, not ugly. Accountant Gu must have been very good looking when he was young." A hint of gloom flashed through Gu Shufang's eyes, and she sighed, "It's a pity that she is old now." "You are not old either," Jiang Chen said, which was not a compliment to Gu Shufang. "You look much younger than your actual age. From a painter's perspective, you are now the most suitable age for painting. In the history of Western art, there are many portrait models who were almost the same age as the accountant." "Oh, really?" Gu Shufang became interested and asked. "Of course it is true. You see, like Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, Rubens's portrait of Suzanne Furman, Sargent's Mrs. Henry White and so on." "Yes." As Jiang Chen spoke, he looked at Gu Shufang. From a painter's perspective, Gu Shufang was indeed a very attractive model, whether it was her unrealistically white skin or the cold light shining in her eyes. All evoked the urge to describe. In Jiang Chen's memory, there are women with delicate and fair skin like Gu Shufang. In the paintings of painters, they all present a gentle and sweet image, whether it is Titian, Raphael or Velázquez. In this way, someone like Gu Shufang seems to be a special case. She is not cool, but so cold that it makes people shudder. When an artist encounters such a unique character, he will be attracted to her and have the urge to create art. This may be the reason why Jiang Chen just blurted out that he wanted to paint a picture for Gu Shufang. "I don't know the ones you mentioned and the rest," Gu Shufang said, "I only know the Mona Lisa." Jiang Chen smiled and said, "I'm not a painter, so I really don't know them." Gu Shufang looked at Jiang Chen and said, "Then I want colorful ones." Jiang Chen said, "Yes, gouache or oil painting will do." "I want an oil painting," Gu Shufang said. "After the painting is done, can I hang it in my room forever?" Jiang Chen said with a smile, "What I am best at is oil painting. Unfortunately, I haven't painted for a long time and my hands are a bit raw." "It doesn't matter. Also, painting oil paintings takes a long time. It can't be done in one night." "It doesn't matter, we have plenty of time, don't we?" Jiang Chen smiled and thought, indeed, there is plenty of time. Jin Lily is not in Hiken, and even if he is, he will only come on the weekend. If he didn't work overtime on the construction site every night, he wouldn't have anywhere to go. Now, Xiao Wu was busy training his team, and Lu Ligan didn't know what he was busy with. He was probably hanging around women, but he couldn't care anymore. She fell in love with him, and apart from these two people, Jiang Chen had no other friends in Hiken. "What, can't you?" Gu Shufang looked at Jiang Chen, and there was already a kind of prayer in her voice and eyes. "Okay, sure," Jiang Chen agreed. He thought to himself that since he had no place to go, it would be good to paint oil paintings here every night and pick up his skills again, not to mention meeting such a unique and rare person. "Model. Shall we start now?" Gu Shufang asked anxiously and excitedly. "Tomorrow," Jiang Chen said, "there are no materials today. When I came to Hainan, I didn't bring an oil painting box and the canvas was not stretched." "Okay, then we'll make an agreement," Gu Shufang said. "Okay, it's settled," Jiang Chen said. Gu Shufang stood up and went upstairs with satisfaction. Before leaving, she smiled at Jiang Chen. The next day, Zhang Chen and Mr. Fu hurriedly had morning tea, and arrived at the construction site before 9 o'clock. He arranged things on the construction site, rode his motorcycle, and went out happily. He felt that he had returned to the time when he had learned. I couldn't contain the excitement I felt during the oil painting scene. When Zhang Chen was learning oil painting, he had to do everything by himself. He not only had to make the picture frame, stretch the canvas, and boil the gelatin by himself, but he even made the oil painting box by himself, which he modeled after the painter's oil painting box. Unable to find the board, he secretly removed the drawer board at home and took out a partition from the closet. Later, his mother discovered it and cursed her, but the board could not be restored and had been removed. Zhang Chen saw it off. Zhang Chen was too young at that time and couldn't even hold a woodworking saw or use it. He cut those boards bit by bit with half a hacksaw blade, but when faced with a pile of wooden boards, he was really, I don't know if there is any way to put them together to look like that box. Later, my father was standing by and couldn't stand it anymore, so he asked Zhang Chen, "What on earth are you going to do?" Zhang Chen told his father that it was an oil painting box, but his father didn't know what the oil painting box looked like. It was not convenient for Zhang Chen to take his father to the painter to see it, so he used a pen to draw what the oil painting box looked like. My father tied the boards to the bicycle and bag rack, pushed his bicycle, and asked Zhang Chen to follow him to their factory. My father works in an instrument factory in the town. This factory produces photoelectric spectrometers and oxygen meters. These instruments are all packed in a wooden portable box, so the factory not only has a woodworking workshop, but also there is a paint shop dedicated to the production of these boxes. The father gave the board and the picture Zhang Chen drew to the carpenter and asked him for help. The carpenter understood immediately and started working on it. The master didn't know what the inside of the box looked like, so Zhang Chen drew it for him on the spot. Look! When other masters saw Zhang Chen painting, they gathered around to watch. They all praised Lao Zhang's son for his good painting. Some people asked Zhang Chen, "What else do you want to do? Tell me and I will do it for you." Zhang Chen looked at it. Father nodded. Zhang Chen was overjoyed, so he drew several wooden frames and wrote the length and width dimensions respectively. The factory is a town-run enterprise, not an individual. Who among the people in the factory would not take some things to their homes, let alone such a few wooden frames? The master workers immediately became busy, and the factory director came over to see. I looked at what they were making and knew that it was Lao Zhang's son who wanted it, so I didn't say anything. The factory director also came over, touched Zhang Chen's head, and said to his father, "You are such a good son. The two debt collectors in my family know how to fight outside. Didn't I get called to school by the teacher? When you get scolded, you just have to apologize to others, go to hell." Someone yelled from the side, "There is no more humming, who are you going to date?" Everyone burst out laughing. In just over an hour, a brand new wooden box and 8 picture frames of different sizes were ready. His father took Zhang Chen to the paint workshop and asked the painter to help Zhang Chen oil the painting box. Asked Zhang Chen what color he wanted. Zhang Chen looked at the dark brown box they were making and said, "It can be lighter than this." "Okay, put it here," the painter said. The next day, Zhang Chen got a brand new oil painting box. This was one of Zhang Chen's beautiful memories as a boy, and he was very grateful to his father and those masters, including the factory director. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 154. When Zhang Chen arrived at the cloth store, he didn't find linen, so he went to the industrial product store, where he found fine canvas. After thinking about it, Zhang Chen simply bought one and tied it to the back seat of the motorcycle. Returning to the construction site, I soaked the canvas in water to prevent it from shrinking. Then I called Xiao Wu and helped him lift the soaked canvas. They reached the slope made of moso bamboo and bamboo slices leading to the construction site on the roof. Open it and hang it on the railing. Brother Chen, are you going to paint? Xiao Wu asked. Zhang Chen often stretched canvases in the troop. Xiao Wu and the others were not used to it. Sometimes Zhang Chen would call them and help them. Yes, I haven't painted for a long time. I'm afraid my hands will be raw, Zhang Chen said. I understand, this painting is just like practicing boxing. If you don't do it for a few days, you will feel itchy all over, right? Xiao Wu said with a smile. Zhang Chen said, yes, when you say that, it makes me itchy even more. Zhang Chen wrote down a set of dimensions and asked the carpenters on the construction site to help him make a dozen wooden frames. Zhang Chen went out again on his motorcycle. He went to the chemical supply store and bought white powder and lithopone, as well as 5 packs of gelatin. Latex and nailing were available at the construction site, so there was no need to buy them. When Zhang Chen came out of the chemical supply store, he already had all the materials for making canvas. Zhang Chen went to the cultural supplies store again and bought oil painting boxes, oil paints and oil brushes, turpentine and mixing oil. When Zhang Chen painted, he liked to mix the 2 oils together. Using turpentine alone, he felt that the color it would become gray, so he thought it was okay to paint landscapes just by using mixed oils, but when it came to painting people, especially their faces, the paint was too thick and it didn't feel right. Zhang Chen returned to the construction site. The fine canvas that had been hung out in front had dried. 2 carpenters moved a lot of wooden frames to Zhang Chen's office. One of them was Xiao Wu's apprentice. Xiao Wu stopped the 2 of them. Let them find 2 manual nail guns. Xiao Wu had done this before and knew how to stretch the canvas to the wooden frame. He asked Zhang Chen, should it be tighter or looser? Zhang Chen said tighter. Xiao Wu understood. He said, you go ahead and boil the glue. I'll do it here. Zhang Chen walked out with bags of granular gelatin and a steel pot. He found a leeward position in the open space outside, built a simple stove with bricks, and boiled the gelatin. When he came back with a pot of gelatin, Xiao Wu and the others had already stretched half of the picture frame. Zhang Chen tried it with his hands and found that the tightness was just right. Zhang Chen thought to himself, I wonder if Xiao Wu can do this when he hits someone. Is the intensity control just right? Zhang Chen used a brush to brush gelatin on the stretched canvas. After brushing it once, he changed the direction of the picture frame and brushed it again. After brushing, he lifted the picture frame and shined it against a bright place to confirm the canvas fibers. The pores in between have been blocked with glue, and then I started painting the second piece. After painting a piece, Zhang Chen took it into the office and stood it against the wall facing inside to prevent dirt and dust from getting on it. After all the painting was done, the walls around the office were covered with canvases. It was time for lunch. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu went to the cafeteria to have lunch and then returned to the office to eat. Lu Ligan didn't come to eat either. Zhang Chen asked Xiao Wu. Wu, how was the date yesterday? It doesn't seem to be going well. He said he would keep up his efforts and fight against repeated defeats. Zhang Chen laughed. He said it was good, at least he had a goal to strive for. By the way, he still slept with Wen Wen and Qian Qian? Xiao Wu almost spit out his rice. He laughed and said, I went to sleep last night, but I came back later. What's wrong? The 2 girls got into a fight and were jealous. Zhang Chen also laughed and cursed, it, this show is getting better and better. Yeah, later on, Wen Wen ran to my room and wanted to sleep with Zanzi, but I drove her away. I said, you can't do it in front of me. If you want to go back to do it, Zanzi said that you can hang a sheet in the middle. I didn't agree, and he became anxious. He said that Zhang Chen and Lily used to sleep here, and we would always hang a sheet in the middle. I told him that if you and Sister Shahan sleep here, hanging sheets in the middle is fine, but she can't, and I can't adapt. When Zhuangzi asked why, I said, I'm familiar with Sister Shahan, but I'm not familiar with her. Xiao Wu blushed when he said this. What he didn't say further was that Lu Ligan told him that either you go over and sleep with Jian and Wen Wen and I sleep here. Xiao Wu said that he did not have this hobby. Lu Ligan suggested again that he and Wen Wen go over, and he mobilized Jian to come over to sleep, but Xiao Wu scolded her again. What happened next? Zhang Chen asked. Later they went back, and it seemed that he had taken care of both of them. The three of them were talking and laughing. Hell, the chicken didn't even crow. The pole was singing hey 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 to them. Xiao Wu said. Zhang Chen smiled and bent over. He could imagine that scene. It must be much more tragic and exposed than Kejin and Xiaolin. Lu Ligan, you are so humming awesome. After eating, Zhang Chen picked up the picture frame and tried it with his hands. The gelatin on it was no longer sticky to his hands, but it had not yet dried. Zhang Chen went out and walked around the construction site on the roof of the building, and then went to the parking lot in front to look at it. Look, the temporary lobby there has begun to be built. Although it is temporary, the lighting and air conditioning in the lobby must be installed in place, and nothing can be done carelessly. By the time Zhang Chen returned to the office, it was already past 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The gelatin on the canvas had dried. Zhang Chen began to paint the base color. He put the 85 by 60 centimeter picture frame that he would use tonight. He took it out, and then took out a smaller piece. He planned to finish these 2 pieces today, and he would talk about the rest when he had time. Zhang Chen mixed the white powder, lithopone, latex, and water in the ratio of 1:1 to 0.5 to 2, and used a 6 cm wide brush to brush it horizontally according to the texture of the canvas. After about an hour, he brushed it again after it was dry. Before brushing the second time, he polished it slightly with fine sandpaper and tried it with his hands. He was also very satisfied. After the second coat of base color was dry, Zhang Chen polished it again with fine sandpaper, then mixed latex and water in a ratio of 1:6, and applied the top coat again with a brush. After applying the top coat, a piece of oil painting the cloth is ready. Zhang Chen turned them towards the inside again, stood them up at the foot of the wall, and waited for them to dry. Zhang Chen looked at the time and saw that it was already past 6 o'clock. The workers on the construction site began to finish work one after another. After a while, Xiao Wu came, and after a while, Lu Ligan came. Zhang Chen looked at him and said with a smile, "You're not going on a date tonight." "Mom, we originally agreed to have dinner together, but boss Lu Yun, the fish catcher, came over from the mainland and doesn't have time today," Lu Ligan said. "How is the progress between you and Lu Yun?" "Zhangzi, Lu Yun is a nice person. If you want to talk, just talk to her properly," Zhang Chen said. "I wanted to have a good talk with her, but she told me that it's okay to be friends, but not to fall in love. Damn it, I sat on their golf course all night and didn't even let me touch her hand. Damn it, I brought a condom with me for nothing," Lu Ligan cursed. "You're still talking about me, you idiot. I made an agreement with Jian last night, and she already agreed to come and sleep with you. Damn you, you're so pretentious." Lu Ligan looked at Xiao Wu and scolded. He said, "Otherwise, we would be brothers-in-law now, how wonderful. Get the hell out of here, brother-in-law, you want to go in and out of the same family as Xiao Wu," Zhang Chen scolded with a smile. Xiao Wu's face turned red and he shouted, "If you like it, you can use it yourself. Don't bother me. I'm not a womanizer now. But it's a pole. Xiao Wu is right about it. What do you think this is? I'm not talking about you. Lu Yun is also our friend after all. He helped you when you were in the most difficult time. I don't think you can do this to others. If you want to talk, just pursue someone in a serious manner. What the hell is going on? Be careful if Qiang and Li Yong find out about it, and they will fall out with you," Zhang Chen said. I seriously want to talk to her. Wenwen and Qian are just entertainment activities. Didn't you see that they also had fun? They just got what they wanted, Lu Ligan said, quibbled. Unreasonable, Zhang Chen cursed. I think you should stay away from Lu Yun, so as not to hurt others. Lu Ligan sneered, yeah, I'm far away from Tan Shahan, and I'm serious, but it's useless. I'm sleeping with a sissy now, and I may be using it for a dam. I paid for it, damn it, is it useful to be serious? If you want to have a good talk, will people treat you well? Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu looked at each other and shook their heads. It seemed that Lu Ligan's knot in his heart was still here. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 155. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan said, what do you think? If there is no love to talk about, why don't you come back to Wenmingdong with me? Why are you going back to Wenmingdong? Lu Ligan asked. Watch me draw. If you don't go, I won't be able to draw an eye even after painting for a long time. I'm so anxious that I want to pierce your canvas. Your pen can't compare to my wonderful brush. Regarding eyes, I can write dozens of them in 1 minute. Adjective. Zhang Chen laughed loudly. Indeed, you are still powerful. You can make Yongcheng full of kings. I can't do this, and Xiao Wu can't do it. Xiao worked hard and fought hard, but he only captured half of Yongcheng. It's still underground, and the old school still rides on us, Xiao Wu said. So, what we write is the hand of God. No, God is not as good as us. We can write God down or alive. God created the world and we wrote it. We also wrote Jesus on the cross, so that Sisyphus is always pushing the boulder, Lu Li said proudly. Okay, I admit it, Zhang Chen said with a smile. Wu Chenjian asked Lao Sun to move 180,000 miles in 1 pound. I can't draw this 180,000 miles. Don't say it's thousands of miles away. If we use our fists, we won't be able to knock down someone by even 1 centimeter, Xiao Wu said. What do you think, Brother Pole? Either come with me. If I don't go, I'm still sweating. I might as well find another place to sweat, and I'll go find some second-rate people to play with, Lu Ligan said. The second-rate guy is back, Zhang Chen asked. I came back early. I went to Sanya to see the construction site, had a meal, met a lot of uncles and then came back. A lot of uncles? Zhang Chen was surprised. It's not surprising that Mr. Tan took the second-rate guy to visit the construction site, and it's not surprising that he came back after a visit. Where did these many uncles come from? Old Tan arrived in Sanya and invited his comrades to dinner. Isn't Lily's construction site not far from the Yulin base? These people who came were also the comrades of the bastard's father during his lifetime. The bastard was very happy. He said that there is no need to go to Sanya now. I'm afraid, I have a backer. Zhang Chen understood. From this point of view, it was really a party for Lao Tan to send a bastard to Sanya. Have you seen the second-rate guy before? Yeah, last night, I couldn't touch it with my hands, so I asked a second-rate guy to take me to touch my butt. Damn you, you really are never idle for a moment, Zhang Chen scolded. What are you doing with your time? It's just such a thing. It's useless to live here, and it will rot after death. What a pity. Zhang Chen and Xiao Wu laughed to death. When Zhang Chen smiled, he felt sad in his heart. It seemed that Lu Ligan had really changed. Okay, it's going to rain and my mother is getting married. If we don't follow you, the literary ones, or the martial arts ones, we just like to follow a gangster. It's up to you, Zhang Chen laughed and scolded. By the way, how about a motorcycle? Why don't you ride and sit behind the idiot and eat your shit? Okay, give me the key, and I'll take a girl to the holiday beach to do super romantic rhythmic gymnastics, Lu Ligan said with a smile. Zhang Chen gave him the keys to his motorcycle, and the three of them separated. Zhang Chen slung the painting box on his shoulder and returned with a stretched canvas in one hand. Zhang Chen arrived at the second floor and saw Gu Shufang already waiting for him in the office. Zhang Chen walked over. The first thing Gu Shufang asked him was, "How is the design draft?" Zhang Chen shook his head and said there was no new news yet. Gu Shufang sighed in disappointment. She looked at the things in Zhang Chen's hands and became happy again. "Can we start today?" Zhang Chen nodded and said, "I'm going to take a shower first." Zhang Chen returned to the room after taking a shower. His hair was still wet. He wiped it casually with a towel a few times. Knowing that Gu Shufang was waiting, he picked up his easel and went out. Zhang Chen arrived at the office and looked around, but he didn't see the oil painting box and picture frame he just put here. Zhang Chen was surprised. "I took it up," Gu Shufang said softly. Took it up? Zhang Chen was even more surprised. "Let's go upstairs and paint, okay?" "Not here." Gu Shufang subconsciously looked outside the door as she spoke. Zhang Chen understood. She was afraid of being seen by Xiaolin and Kejin. Indeed, Gu Shufang actually acted as a model for herself. Anyone who saw it would be surprised. If she were placed in the first few god, Zhang Chen himself wouldn't believe it. Zhang Chen looked at the lamp above his head, and Gu Shufang quickly said, "Don't worry, the lights there are brighter than here. I don't like dark places, and no one will go upstairs, and you won't being disturbed." "Okay, we'll paint wherever you feel comfortable sitting," Zhang Chen thought to himself. "Isn't it just a painting? Wherever you can't paint, as long as you can put down the easel." Zhang Chen took the easel and followed Gu Shufang upstairs. After exiting the office door, the two of them couldn't help but look across the street and downstairs. Xiaolin and Kejin hadn't come back yet, and the whole house was quiet. Stepping onto the stairs leading to the third floor, Zhang Chen couldn't help but become curious. Although he had lived here for more than a month, the third floor was very mysterious to him. He had never been there before. What exactly was the third floor? What it looked like, he had no idea. In the past, when Zhang Chen wanted to see Gu Shufang for something, he would stand below and shout, "Gu accountant, Gu accountant." This mystery is about to be solved now. It was getting dark, but when Zhang Chen raised his head from the third floor, his eyes lit up. He saw a large field of red, white, and yellow peonies. In Hainan, peonies are rarely seen. And it is even more rare to have more than a dozen of them in such a concentrated area. The corridor on the third floor is in a concave shape. When you go up the stairs, you will find a kitchen and dining room above the office on the second floor. After passing through it, there is a platform of more than 10 square meters, where the flowers are planted. When Zhang Chen passed by them, he couldn't help but admire them, they are so beautiful. Gu Shufang said, "I brought these with me from my hometown in Suzhou. Every time I go back, my mother will ask me to bring back a peony, saying that it is to get in touch with the flowers and plants in my hometown more, so that when I return to Suzhou, I will not be familiar with the soil." Not convinced anymore. When Gu Shufang said this, her tone was a bit gloomy. She continued to tell Zhang Chen that she didn't expect that when these peonies arrived here, each one would grow better than me, and the flowering period would be earlier and longer. Gu Shufang sighed softly. It seems that the ability of plants to adapt to the environment is much better than that of us humans. I think Hainan is very good. When I came here, I didn't want to go back. Accountant Gu has been in Hainan for so long and he still doesn't get used to it, Zhang Chen asked curiously. I'll never get used to it. When Gu Shufang said this, she was a bit vicious. Zhang Chen was silent, and Gu Shufang was also silent. The two stood in front of the peonies for a while. Gu Shufang sighed again and said to herself, "Maybe we are still human. If we are with the right person, not to mention Hainan, Africa, and the Sahara." Zhang Chen couldn't answer these words. On the edge of the platform, The bathroom was twice as big as the one below. The frosted glass door was open. Zhang Chen saw inside that there was not only an air conditioner, but also a bathtub. The bathtub was a rare thing at the time and was rarely used in ordinary homes. There are two rooms on the other side of the concave shape. The one above Xiaolin's room is the living room, and the one above Zhang Chen's room is the bedroom. Gu Shufang led Zhang Chen into the living room. Here, he saw his oil painting box and the two picture frames. The floor of the living room was covered with thick carpets. No wonder Zhang Chen didn't go to the bedroom next door to see it, but he could imagine that there must be carpets there as well. No wonder he was downstairs and almost didn't hear what was going on upstairs. Shufang made some noise. Due to the hot weather and heavy humidity in Hainan, few people lay carpets in their homes or offices. They are either wooden floors or marble floors. Only a few high-end hotels and hotel rooms use carpets. Even in these places, if it is not cleaned regularly, it will emit a musty smell. There is no musty smell in Gu Shufang's living room, but there is a faint scent of sandalwood. She must often burn incense indoors. Zhang Chen looked around, and sure enough he saw a celadone incense burner on the table. This table, this incense burner, and Gu Shufang's white fingers holding slender sandalwood should indeed be returned to Gasu. People. The furniture in the living room is all made of Huanghuali. It looks very old and red bean color. Judging from the exquisite workmanship, it must have belonged to a wealthy family in Hainan. When Gu Shufang walked over and sat down on an armchair, Zhang Chen almost screamed. He saw that Gu Shufang's whiteness and the old furniture formed a huge contrast. If Zhang Chen saw this contrast, under the brush, it will be very coordinated and picturesque. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 156. Is there enough light here? Gu Shufang asked. That's enough, Zhang Chen nodded. He opened the easel, put the canvas on the easel, adjusted the height and fixed it. Where should I sit? Gu Shufang asked. Just sit on that chair. Zhang Chen said that if Zhang Chen really had to choose from a painter's perspective, what Zhang Chen would like to paint the most would definitely be Gu Shufang sitting like in Angra as the bathing girl of Valsan. Zhang Chen would really like to paint it. Her naked back is different from the plump body of the bathing girl of Valsan. Gu Shufang has a skinny body. But they have skin with the same delicate and fair texture. Under the reflection of light and surrounding objects, it will emit charming light and shadow changes like porcelain. The two slightly raised shoulder blades and the trapezius, infraspinatus, and round muscles, the changes in muscle and deltoid muscle formation must be interesting. But Zhang Chen couldn't make such a request. He could draw her face, her eyes, and the blush on her face, but he couldn't ask to draw her naked back, because he might get slapped. Zhang Chen himself also laughed. Just when Zhang Chen was distracted, Gu Shufang had already posed in what she considered the most graceful and noble pose. Every woman probably had a movie star looking at the cover of popular cinema posing in the same pose as them. The experience of looking left and right in front of the mirror, Gu Shufang's sitting posture, at first glance, it is an imitation of a certain star. Zhang Chen frowned slightly. Gu Shufang turned slightly sideways to Zhang Chen, her back straight, her hands folded on her thighs, her chin raised slightly, and her eyes looking diagonally upward. This was probably what she understood as the most noble and dignified posture. Zhang Chen thought for a while and said to her, "Accountant Gu, today we are painting, not taking close-ups. Don't put too much pressure on us. Just relax and be casual." Gu Shufang put her hands down and straightened her chin. She looked at Zhang Chen and asked, "Is that so?" Zhang Chen was thinking in his mind that he was relaxing, not letting go. He walked over, pulled Gu Shufang's arm, and found that her whole body was stiff. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Is it the first time for accountant Gu to be a model?" Gu Shufang became nervous. "Why, isn't it okay?" "Okay, okay." Zhang Chen sat back in front of the easel, and he said to Gu Shufang, "How about we come and have a casual chat? I am a painter now, not your colleague. We need to communicate openly. I need to be more I know more about you so that I can draw out your unique temperament. I don't know if accountant Gu can understand what I say." As soon as Gu Shufang nodded, she immediately stopped and returned her head to its original position without daring to move. Zhang Chen pretended to draw on the canvas with charcoal strips, but actually drew nothing. He told Gu Shufang, "It's okay. You don't have to keep still. You can do whatever you want, just like you usually chat with others." "I usually don't chat with others," Gu Shufang said. "Do you have any good friends?" Zhang Chen asked. "There are in Suzhou, but not here. By the way, accountant Gu, there's something I'm curious about. If I offend you, please forgive me. Didn't you say that as a painter? For the sake of work, I will answer you anything," Gu Shufang said. "Oh, yes, it's my fault." Zhang Chen couldn't laugh or cry. He said, "What I'm curious about is, since you hate Hainan so much, why did you come to Hainan in the first place? Were you assigned here?" "No, I was deceived," Gu Shufang said bluntly. "You were deceived? Are you saying, it's Mr. Fu?" Zhang Chen asked. Gu Shufang shook her head and said, "Myself, I was deceived by myself." "You were deceived by yourself?" Zhang Chen didn't understand. "Yes, it's me. I was deceived by my young self. When I was young, I always wanted to be as far away from my parents as possible. I always thought that the distance was very romantic, and there would be poems, stories, and all kinds of adventures. When I was young, all I wanted to do was go far away, and I was absolutely disgusted with my surroundings. By the way, aren't you like that?" Zhang Chen nodded and said, "It is true, but a big reason for us is that we feel that this is a special zone, and there will be more opportunities in the special zone. Shenzhen failed to catch up with the development, and Hainan's large-scale development was we caught up and we wanted to change ourselves. When we were young, there was basically no such thing as opportunity. Everything was arranged by the organization. When I went to Hainan, I was transferred through the organization. When there is an organization, individuals can only obey and have no chance." "That makes sense, accountant Gu." Gu Shufang frowned and said, "Can you please stop calling me accountant Gu? It's too formal." "What did I call you then?" "It wasn't." "Okay, that's right. I asked you to call me accountant Gu. At that time, I wanted to keep a distance from you," Gu Shufang said with a smile. Zhang Chen was confused. At that time, he needed to keep a distance, but now he doesn't? "You call me Sister Shufang," Gu Shufang said. Zhang Chen agreed, "I was going to call you eldest sister." "It sounds so ugly. What eldest sister? Is eldest sister the same as my elder sister?" Gu Shufang said angrily. "Okay, I understand, Sister Shufang," Zhang Chen said quickly. "You haven't finished telling me how you got to Hainan." "At that time, I was working as a waiter at the Nanyuan Hotel in Suzhou." He didn't know why he went there to study. At that time, he was very honest, didn't talk much, and couldn't speak Mandarin well. He was alone in Suzhou and had no place to go. Just like to play behind us waitresses, help us carry bags and so on. He also gave me a set of postcards from Hainan and told me that his family lived by the sea. Every day when he got up, he could see the sea. How could an 18 or 19-year-old girl not be attracted by the sea? Anyway, later, I fell in love with him. No matter how much my parents objected, it was useless. At that time, his master had just become the director of the guest house of the Shanghai South District Administrative Office and had some power. He went to see his master, and his master sent a transfer letter to our Nanyuan hotel. I was quickly transferred here. I was the organizer. The relationship came to Haikan first, and then the talent came to Hainan for the first time. We walked on the road for 2 days and 2 nights. When I first saw Haikan, I cried. You know how different Haikan was from Suzhou at that time. It was shabby and shabby, just like a small fishing village. Really. I totally feel like I'm on a pirate ship. But there is nothing I can do. The raw rice has already been cooked, and I have no way to go back. Even if I have a way to go back, I feel that I have no shame in going back to face my parents. There is no need to say more about the following story. It is all gloomy anyway. I made this mistake when I was young, but I have to spend my whole life regretting it. Sometimes I think about it, it is really not worth it, and being a human being is not worth it. When Gu Shufang said this, her eyes dimmed, and both of them were silent. Zhang Chen watched Gu Shufang's every move very carefully, and he hadn't caught the right posture yet. I heard Sister Shufang say that you have a daughter, Zhang Chen asked. Yes, my daughter is in Suzhou, Gu Shufang said. She remembered something and said to Zhang Chen, I'm sorry. Zhang Chen asked curiously, what are you sorry for? Those words I told you when we first met. Zhang Chen laughed, I have already forgotten. Just forget it, Gu Shufang said, after my daughter was born, my parents forgave me. They came all the way to see us. When my parents left, they took my daughter away at any cost. They said if I stay here, they won't worry and will have nightmares every day, so I finally agreed. Where's Mr. Fu? Mr. Fu also agrees. He just didn't care. Ah, Zhang Chen was surprised, why? Perko to boys. Don't you know that Hainan people are very patriarchal? He is, and so is their whole family. They all feel that it is useless to have a daughter. From my daughter's childhood to adulthood, whether it is his family or him, let alone never thought of going to Suzhou to see her, even mentioning it in daily life. None of them would mention it, except for me. Their whole family had the attitude that it would be best if they left. My parents regard my daughter as a treasure. Tell me, if it were you, would you let your daughter stay here? Zhang Chen was silent. Gu Shufang continued, their whole family's only thought was for me to continue giving birth to a boy for their family, but my heart was already dead. From the day my daughter left, I never gave up. He touched me. Gu Shufang's face turned slightly red, she folded her hands in front of her chest and said coldly. Okay, Sister Shufang, this is the position, stay still. As Zhang Chen spoke, the charcoal strips in his hand moved quickly on the canvas. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 157. Sister Shufang, can you remember your current posture, and your current expression? Indifferent, and a little bit disdainful. Okay, Gu Shufang said, you don't need me to stay motionless in this position. Zhang Chen smiled and said, it would be better if this could be done, but it would take several days and several hours a day. Even a professional model would find it difficult to do it, and he would have to rest in between. I can do it, Gu Shufang said without hesitation. Zhang Chen looked at her. He also believed that Gu Shufang could do it. This woman had a tough heart under her seemingly weak appearance. Zhang Chen nodded and said, I believe Sister Shufang can do it, but don't force it. Okay, you have to help me remember your current expression. You don't need to remember this, Gu Shufang sneered, when I think of him, he has this expression. I'm used to it. Zhang Chen was puzzled and couldn't help but ask, is it because Mr. Fu and his family favor boys over girls? Gu Shufang glanced at Zhang Chen and lowered her eyelids, there are many things you don't know. Zhang Chen couldn't ask any more questions. The two of them were silent for a while. They heard that Kejin and Xiaolin were back downstairs and continued to sing Queen's Avenue East. Gu Shufang wanted to stand up, but Zhang Chen quickly stopped her and told her. Let them sing. Won't it affect you? No, when I draw in, I can't hear the movement outside. By the way, Sister Shufang, even when we are chatting, sometimes I will be absent-minded, and sometimes, you talk to me, I can't hear it either. I hope you don't mind. In the past, when Zhang Chen was painting, Jin Lily was beside him, and Zhang Chen would make her crazy. She would sit there and chatter. Zhang Chen would say and ah while he was painting. Jin Lily said after waiting for a long time, he finally asked again and found that Zhang Chen actually didn't listen to a word. He was just talking about himself. Jin Lily was so angry that he came over to pinch his ears. I know, you painted it in. Gu Shufang smiled and said, actually, I discovered it a few days ago. Zhang Chen also laughed. A few days ago, that was when he was drawing renderings. There is a noble friend behind the coin. His youthful name remains unchanged and his name is Queen. Every time I do business, he follows me everywhere. His face is expressionless but he gathers achievements. I say goodbye to my confidant and go away to the city. I have to rely on great comrades to create new things. I mean, there are units everywhere for selling off-the-plan properties according to the buying and selling license, but the name may need to be changed in Mongkok. Kejin and Xiaolin were singing below. Zhang Chen and Gu Shufang listened attentively for a while. Both of them thought the lyrics of the song were very interesting. Kejin and the others sang in Cantonese, but Zhang Chen didn't understand. It was very clear. Gu Shufang just said one sentence in Cantonese and then repeated it in Mandarin. Sister Shufang speaks Cantonese so well, Zhang Chen asked curiously. I can also speak Hainan, but I never speak it, Gu Shufang said proudly. While he was talking, Zhang Chen had finished the draft he made with charcoal strips. He habitually flicked the canvas a few times with his fingers to let the charcoal ash floating on the surface fall down, so that the color of the charcoal lines would become lighter. Next, Zhang Chen prepared to use brown paint to make a rough draft. He opened the oil painting box, squeezed the paint onto the palette, and then opened the cap of the turpentine bottle. What is this? Gu Shufang asked, her nose twitching twice. Are you used to smelling turpentine? Zhang Chen asked. It's okay, it's okay. It's a bit pungent, but it smells very clean, Gu Shufang said. Zhang Chen laughed. He had never heard of people using cleansing to describe the smell, but it was true. It is also used on patients in hospitals to relieve rheumatic pain, joint pain, muscle pain, neuralgia, etc. Wait. No wonder I said the smell is so familiar, Gu Shufang said. Sister Shufang often goes to the hospital. I won't go, but the memory of the hospital will be unforgettable. The two continued chatting. Because of Kejin and Xiaolin's unintentional intervention, the atmosphere of the chat was more relaxed than when they were just the two of them face to face. Gu Shufang's movements and facial expressions also became richer. This was what Zhang Chen needed. If you want to express someone's sadness well, you'd better know how he is happy. The painter in the past often said this to Zhang Chen. Gu Shufang had a question. She said, when you paint, why do you need a model to sit here for days and hours, pose an action, take a picture with a camera, and then paint against the photo? There are no color photos anymore. Yes, when photography technology appeared, people thought that painting was going to disappear, but it didn't. Think about it, why photographers took so many portraits, but none of them could surpass the Mona Lisa. Is it because Mona Lisa is beautiful and then there is no one more beautiful than her? No, Mona Lisa is not beautiful either. Yes, then why is this? Gu Shufang also asked strangely. Because photography is too restricted by the external environment, including the subject itself. The camera lens is dead and cold. It can only reflect everything it sees, but human eyes are not. Even if the Mona Lisa is reincarnated, There are so many photographers out there taking the photo, and I believe they can't take a photo that's more touching than the Mona Lisa. Zhang Chen said. Gu Shufang nodded thoughtfully. Zhang Chen continued. This goes back to your question, why do you need models instead of photos? Painting by an artist is actually a process of discovery and creation. Mona Lisa was completed by Mona Lisa and Leonardo da Vinci. The Mona Lisa in Leonardo da Vinci's eyes and writings, and the real one, are actually two people. I understand what you mean by co-creation. But when you say discovery, what did you discover? Gu Shufang asked. Discovering all the details, the changes in light, every subtle movement and smile of the characters. The painter captures the most beautiful moment of the model in every second of every day. The beauty I am talking about is not in the popular sense. Beauty in art is perfection in artistic creation, the kind of thing that impresses an animator the most, even if what he draws is a pair of shoes or an apple. A good work must be the accumulation of many such moments. This is also the difference between painting and photography. Photography can only discover one moment, but it cannot accumulate. I said this, but I don't know if I made it clear. Gu Shufang nodded and said, I understand vaguely. Zhang Chen laughed. This hazy understanding, what kind of understanding is it? Gu Shufang also smiled. I just seem to understand but not understand. It's actually very simple. For example, as I said before, to draw your indifference and disdain, I can't draw a rigid look of disdain. That would be too conceptual. Why is Mona Lisa's smile so mysterious? Because her smile, there is a story behind it. The audience may not know this story, but Da Vinci knew it. Da Vinci painted the story into the smile, and the smile is not empty. This is also the importance of communication between painters and models. For example, if I don't know what Sister Shufang told me earlier, what would happen if I painted your indifference and disdain? It's very likely that it will make people think that this woman is very mean. To be honest, that was the impression I had when I first saw Sister Shufang. As Zhang Chen spoke, he looked at Gu Shufang and saw that she was sitting there, listening to him quietly without getting angry. Zhang Chen continued. Now, after I heard some things, I changed my view. How should I put it? When I paint this kind of indifference and disdain, I will have more sympathy and empathy. I'm sorry, I am talking about creation. The painter's brush has color and attitude. When I paint your indifference and disdain, the painting will be thicker, more complex, and more profound. People who look at it will feel that there is a story behind the expression, although they don't know what kind of story it is. In our jargon, it means that the painting is interesting and can be read. Gu Shufang sighed and said, I'm afraid if I tell this story too much, I will become not only indifferent, but hateful. Both of them were silent. Downstairs, Kejin and Xiaolin seemed to have finished singing. Xiaolin returned upstairs and closed the door with a loud bang. He must have been so excited that he used his hands instead of his hands to sing. The foot is used to close the door. When he went upstairs, he must have looked upstairs, but he didn't see Gu Shufang. Xiao Biangzi. Gu Shufang cursed softly in Suzhou dialect, which Zhang Chen couldn't understand, but from her tone of voice and expression, it was clear that she was scolding Xiaolin, or maybe not just Xiaolin. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Niang. Chapter 158. I remember the day my daughter was born. His parents came from Lingao. When they arrived at the hospital and I was about to be pushed into the operating room, his mother said to me, guess what she said? Haha, she didn't tell me not to be afraid. Relax a little, and instead tell me, you must have a son. It's a joke, as if I'm in the operating room and I can give birth to whatever I want. I entered the operating room, and he and his parents were in the corridor outside. Because of abnormal uterine contractions, I was in labor for more than an hour before I gave birth to my daughter. I felt like I was going to die. The nurse walked out. When he told them that he had given birth to a girl, his parents stood up and went back to Lingao, not even wanting to look at my daughter. The nurse pushed me out and went to the corridor outside. I vaguely heard them shouting for Gu Shufang's family members, but there was no one in the corridor. At that moment, I cried. I really missed me. My parents. I know that if my own parents were here, even if I gave birth to a freak, they would not leave me alone. He later defended me, saying that his parents didn't know how to take the bus back. He sent them to the station to take the bus. God knows where he was. You said, with such parents-in-law and husband, what else can I do? I know that when I was pregnant, he was looking for women outside. At that time, he was still running the guest house. At a young age, he was the deputy manager of the catering department. He was very proud of himself. How many girls were there in the guest house? Some colleagues have already told me I can tolerate it even if you say he is messing with this or that, but you can never throw me and my daughter into the corridor no matter what. In the few days I was hospitalized, he came once and stayed for less than 10 minutes. He asked me what I needed. Of course I said I didn't need anything. You weren't there when I needed you most. What else do I need from you? He asked insincerely. I said I didn't need it, and he was relieved. Really, I could feel him relieved. I stayed in the hospital for 3 days. I did everything by myself. Even the family members of other mothers in the ward couldn't stand it anymore. They all came to help me. I know the way they looked at me, they must have thought I was very pitiful. A mainland girl, my parents-in-law don't want to see me, and my husband is nowhere to be seen, so they think I must be very pitiful. But I don't feel sorry for myself at all. When I am alone, I will feel very pitiful for myself. But now that I have a daughter, we are 2 people. With my daughter, I don't feel pitiful for myself at all. For my daughter, I can endure any hardships, I am willing to do anything, and I will do it. I stayed in the hospital for 3 days. I left the hospital alone with my daughter in my arms. I called a caravan and returned home. At that time, the house had just been built. When I returned home, I saw he was in our bed with a woman. That woman was my colleague at the guest house. She was the one who came to me and told me that he was having sex with this or that woman. I stood at the door. When they saw me, they were frightened and thought I would be angry. But the strange thing is that I was not angry at all. I just wanted to laugh. I just wanted to laugh. I told them, you continue, when you're done, go next door and we'll talk it over. After saying this, I held my daughter in my arms, went next door, sat down and breastfed. Of course they didn't dare to continue. He quickly put on his clothes and ran over. I told him, go to the street and buy me a new bed. I couldn't leave. He said yes. I told him again, you take this bed away, or burn it and chop it up, don't let me see it, he said again. I said you buy the bed, then go, there is no room for you in this home. He asked me to forgive him, saying that he was confused for a moment. I told him, you are not confused for a moment, you are this kind of person. It was me who was confused for a moment, and I didn't even listen to my parents and ran to this hellish place with you. It was useless for him to say anything else. I told him, do you believe I will kill you? He believed it and knew that I would do it. After buying a bed, he really moved away. Zhang Chen was painting while silently listening to Gu Shufang's narration. He didn't need to say or ah. Gu Shufang was a very good narrator. She talked about her tragic experiences very calmly and without any emotion. Excited, as if telling someone else's story. Maybe it's this calmness that makes people scared. Not to mention Mr. Fu, even Zhang Chen feels that Gu Shufang is not Lu Ligan. She doesn't have so many words and doesn't have so much reason. She has murderous intentions. Zhang Chen also understood why Gu Shufang said that the hospital was an unforgettable experience for her. There is one thing that Zhang Chen doesn't understand. According to Gu Shufang's character, she is not the kind of person who is procrastinating. She has her own decision-making ability. Zhang Chen wanted to say it, but held it back. What do you want to say? Zhang Chen's actions still did not escape Gu Shufang's eyes. She looked at Zhang Chen and asked. I want to ask, in this case, why did you? Why don't you divorce him, right? Gu Shufang asked. Zhang Chen nodded. Why should I let him go? Gu Shufang sneered. I built this house together. I know every penny he squandered. Whether it is in the guest house or Wanghai Tower, I am an accountant, and I am still very a good accountant. I will know if there is something fishy about any amount of money. Don't even try to escape my eyes, I will tell him to spit it out. Do you believe it? Although I am no longer in Wanghailu, I can see Wanghailu's monthly accounts. I still know where there is something fishy, and he can only continue to vomit obediently. Zhang Chen thought to himself, maybe not necessarily, at least you don't know what is going to be stored in Mr. Fu's secret room. Many things can be found by looking through the ledger. Is Mr. Fu just going to listen to you like this? He has no choice. He knows that I will not only kill him, but I can also throw a bomb at any time and kill him. People outside call him Hibasian. If you live in prison, you can still be Hibasian. Is he a tyrant? If a person like him doesn't have an official position, he's nothing. Gu Shufang paused and continued, I will not let him go. My daughter can be without a father or a mother, but she cannot be without money. I want her to receive the best education and be a real princess. When Gu Shufang said this, she looked at Zhang Chen and sighed, perhaps, I shouldn't tell you this. In the past 10 years, I have never spoken so many words to anyone, let alone so secretly. If so, I believe you and him are not the same, I can see that. Zhang Chen smiled, I just do my own thing. Gu Shufang nodded and said, these words don't matter to you. Anyway, you know that the Wanghai Tower project is not clean. You know this project, why is he so excited? Why? I promised him that after completing this project, I would let him go and divorce him. I would go back to Suzhou to be with my parents and daughter. My parents are old and they only have a child like me. I don't want to spend the rest of my life with him. Just spend it on him. Zhang Chen sighed and said, you are right to leave. There is nothing right or wrong. It's just me who feels tired. Gu Shufang sighed. The two were silent again. On the screen, Gu Shufang's eyes had appeared. Zhang Chen looked at the time and saw that it was almost 12 o'clock. He said to Gu Shufang, Sister Shufang, let's stop here today. Gu Shufang said yes. Zhang Chen paused and said, thank you for trusting me and telling me so many things. Gu Shufang was stunned for a moment, and then said, I also want to thank you. It's the first time in more than 10 years that you let me express my feelings. Gu Shufang came over and stood next to Zhang Chen, looking at the paintings on the easel. She stared at those eyes and did not move away for a long time. After a long time, she sighed softly and said, these eyes, it's really scary, this woman must be scary too. Just as Zhang Chen was about to speak, Gu Shufang continued, the painting looks very similar. I saw myself. This is what I look like. Zhang Chen said, I think it's very complicated. Yes, it's terrifyingly complicated. Gu Shufang said. It seemed that she was determined to associate herself with terror. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 159. Zhang Chen wiped the oil paint brush dry with paper, put it away, and put the paint, palette, mixing oil, and turpentine into the oil painting box. Wait, can you let me smell the oil again? Gu Shifang shouted. Zhang Chen smiled, knowing that she was talking about turpentine, so he handed it to her. Gu Shifang unscrewed the cap of the bottle, put it in front of her nose, sniffed, and exclaimed, "It smells so good." Zhang Chen looked at her and almost laughed out loud. He felt that she really looked like a little girl now. "Sister Shifang, my oil painting box is placed here. If you don't take it away, if you want to smell it, you can take it out yourself." Zhang Chen and Gu Shifang said, and Gu Shifang nodded quickly and said yes. After packing the oil painting box, Zhang Chen stood up and was about to leave. Gu Shifang and Zhang Chen said, "Should we continue tomorrow?" Zhang Chen said, "Yes, I have nothing to do at night anyway, as long as you have time." "I have nothing to do," Gu Shifang said, "or, if you come back early tomorrow, I can treat you to dinner. My cooking skills are not bad, and I will cook Suzhou cuisine for you." This. Zhang Chen hesitated, "It's too much trouble. I can just eat in the cafeteria of Wanghai Tower." "No trouble, come on, okay. I haven't invited anyone to dinner in more than 10 years," Gu Shifang requested. Zhang Chen said okay. Zhang Chen returned to his room and lay down on the bed, but he tossed and turned and couldn't fall asleep. He raised his ears and listened carefully. He felt that Gu Shifang had returned to his bedroom, but he couldn't hear her utterance. The sound above his head was silent. Zhang Chen thought to himself, "Everyone is really like a book. This book is still closed. All you can see is his surface, not even the title page, let alone the story hidden inside." If without close contact, who would have imagined that a person like Gu Shifang, who seemed to be mean, had a reason for her being mean and mean? If I told Jin Lily and Lu Ligan about Gu Shifang's story, would they still call Gu Shifang an old witch? If we think about it further, we meet so many people on the road every day and pass by so many people. We only have a relationship with each other for a few seconds. After passing by, we will probably never see each other again in this life. Who would think about the opportunity? In fact, everyone who passes by has a past and a future, and has his own story. A crowd is like a needle. All you can see is the needle point. You can't see that behind each needle point, there is a long body, and there may be long threads connected to the back. The whole world is connected. There are many more people whom we have never even had the chance to pass by. Each of them has his or her own ups and downs, joys and sorrows. Zhang Chen was thinking wildly, and he didn't know how long it took before he fell asleep without knowing it. Just after 8 o'clock the next morning, the alarm clock woke up Zhang Chen. He was lying on the bed and heard what seemed to be Mr. Fu's voice outside. Who was he talking to? Zhang Chen wondered if Mr. Fu was here at this time. Could something happen to him? Zhang Chen quickly put on his clothes, walked over and opened the door, but stopped and did not go out any further. He saw Mr. Fu with his back to this place and his front facing Gu Shifang, who was standing on the second floor leading to the third floor. On the stairs, he clasped his hands on his chest and looked at Mr. Fu from top to bottom with Zhang Chen's familiar, indifferent, and disdainful eyes. Gu Shifang pursed her lips tightly, her face turned pale, and she glanced over Mr. Fu's head. Zhang Chen didn't know if she had seen him. He retreated to the room and closed the door gently, but he did not leave. He leaned behind the door, raised his ears, and listened to what was going on outside. He heard Mr. Fu say, "Shifang, I'm going up to tell you something, and I'll leave after I'm done." Gu Shifang said, "Okay, let's go to the office to talk." Mr. Fu was in a dilemma. He said, "This matter cannot be discussed in the office. Gu Shifang, I think it's best to talk about anything between us in the office, or on the phone." Mr. Fu lowered his voice and begged, "Shifang, please let me go up, just this once." Gu Shifang sneered and said, "You can go up. I have told you before that if you want to go upstairs, you must first wash off the smell of other women on your body. Can you wash it off? Humph, you think those smells are very fragrant, but I think they are very fragrant. Dirty. It's unreasonable, Mr. Fu cursed, this is my home. Yes, that's right, it's also the home of me and my daughter. Legally speaking, we own 2/3 of this house and you own 1/3. Now, I just don't allow you to go to the 3rd floor, and I don't stop you. You went to the 2nd and 1st floors, was I wrong? Okay, you're right, Mr. Fu said helplessly. Gu Shufang sarcastically said, you can either turn right now and go to the office, or turn left. Where are you coming from, where are you going back, what's the matter, let's talk on the phone, we are in a stalemate here, haha, everyone else is in the room, don't dare to go out, you will make them late. Gu Shufang sneered. Mr. Fu knew that he would not be able to go up to this floor today. He looked behind him at Zhang Chen and Xiao Lin's room, and then at the patio downstairs. He felt that it would be really embarrassing to continue the confrontation like this. He sighed and said, okay, I'll give you the phone number. Zhang Chen knew that Gu Shufang must have seen him to say such words. He cursed in his heart, but could not open the door. He was afraid that when he opened the door, he would confront Mr. Fu. At this time, I'm afraid Fu will always be more embarrassed than himself. Mr. Fu turned around and left, and Gu Shufang shouted, next time you come, remember to make an appointment in advance. I don't have time to block you here every day. Mr. Fu remained silent or said nothing, and Gu Ziyi continued to go downstairs. After a while, Zhang Chen heard Xiao Lin next door opening the door. Xiao Lin took the wash basin and tooth cup and went to the bathroom. Zhang Chen also opened the door and went out with a towel and toothbrush. He looked up and saw that Gu Shufang was gone. On the patio below, Kejin and the others were hurriedly going out. Zhang Chen almost laughed out loud, and then he realized that he was not the only one blocked by Mr. Fu and Gu Shufang just now, and Gu Shufang's words were not just for him. Zhang Chen walked to the door of the bathroom. Xiao Lin was coming out. When he saw Zhang Chen, he grinned and muttered something. Zhang Chen thought about it while brushing his teeth and washing his face. After thinking for a long time, he didn't think about it. Know exactly what he said. After washing his face, Zhang Chen put the towel on his shoulders. He wanted to ask Xiao Lin, what the hell did you just say? As soon as Zhang Chen turned around, he saw Xiao Lin clasping his thighs in his hands and hurriedly going downstairs. Zhang Chen thought it was Gu Shufang who had appeared again. He looked up, but there was still no sign of anyone. When he walked to the door, Zhang Chen realized that they were afraid that Mr. Fu would retaliate and come back. If so, he would be blocked. I really can't get out of the room. Zhang Chen also hurried out and went downstairs to have breakfast. While Zhang Chen was waiting for the noodle soup, he was still thinking about what happened just now. He was laughing as he thought about it. He thought that Mr. Fu, Hai Bassian, would be like a stick of medicine when he met Gu Shufang. She would squeeze him to death. 1. Zhang Chen thought again about what Gu Shufang said to him last night. If this was the case, Hai Bassian would have brought it upon himself, and he had indeed gone too far. But wanting to come back, Gu Shufang said that she hadn't let Mr. Fu touch her for more than 10 years. It would be strange if the men in this family didn't mess around outside. Unless he is a saint, even if he is a saint, when he meets Nanzi, this Hai Bassian always has a loose waistband. If you do this, won't you drive him to other women? A couple is a drama, and theirs must be the most tortuous and bizarre one. Zhang Chen remembered that he did see a phone in Gu Shufang's living room last night. It was on the coffee table between the two armchairs. It was also covered with a piece of white embroidered cloth. Zhang Chen didn't know if they had started yet. I didn't know what happened to Mr. Fu during the phone call, so he came here so early in the morning and was rejected. Upstairs and downstairs, with such a close distance, if the phone in Gu Shifang's living room rings, they will definitely hear it downstairs. Zhang Chen seemed to have never heard the phone ring before, so what time did they use to do it? To make contact? Or did she not contact her at all? If she didn't contact her, how did Gu Shifang know about many things about the project? The more Zhang Chen thought about it, the more confused he became. When the noodle soup came, Zhang Chen didn't bother to think about it anymore. He added a big spoonful of hot sauce and ate it. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 160. When he was about to get off work, the second-rate guy came. When he saw Zhang Chen, he yelled, "Oh, instructor, you're forced to raise me. This time I went to Sanya, I didn't see your girlfriend who was pulling pigweed together." Zhang Chen asked clearly, "Why?" "Old Ten, he kept me on the construction site and didn't take me to meet Party A's people," Huo said regretfully. "I heard they are at the Jinling resort nearby. We didn't have dinner together either." "No, I had dinner with Lao Tan's comrades. I met the real commander, my father's old chief. The old man even cried when he saw me." Zhang Chen knew that Mr. Tan did not let Guo go to see Party A's people because he was afraid that he would talk nonsense and take him to meet his comrades. These comrades were his own people and the old friends of Guo's father. They all wanted to see him. He, his seemingly useless father, was quite popular when he was in the army. The second-rate guy is like his father. Apart from having a bad mouth, he is really good in other aspects, especially as a friend. Xiao Wu and Lu Ligan came, and the second-rate guy shouted, "Haha, everyone is here. Let's go to Huajiang dog meat today. I'll call people again, and we'll drink Huaju." Lu Ligan said yes. Zhang Chen quickly said, "I can't go, I have dinner arrangements." Xiao Wu also said he won't go. "No, no, you are our golden sign now. Do you know how many girls in Haikan are waiting to ride you, a little boy? They are forced to raise you, and the red envelopes they give out are getting bigger and bigger." Urquo shouted exaggeratedly, but Xiao Wu still refused. Urquo and Lu Ligan were not willing to let him go, so they pulled him away, one on each side. Zhang Chen looked at the time and saw that it was not yet 7 o'clock. People in Haikan usually had dinner after 7 o'clock. Zhang Chen didn't want to go back too early and make Gu Shifang think that she was eagerly waiting for this meal. Zhang Chen went up to the roof and walked around. The interior decoration had begun here, and workers were burying pipelines. Zhang Chen saw Xiao Lin. Xiao Lin had been working overtime these past few nights, staring at his workers. Zhang Chen remembered and asked Xiao Lin, "What did you say this morning?" Xiao Lin himself had forgotten it, but Zhang Chen reminded him that it was at the bathroom door after Mr. Fu came downstairs. Xiao Lin grinned. He looked at the workers digging wire troughs not far away and said something to Zhang Chen. "Say it again," Zhang Chen shouted. Xiao Lin turned his head to the other side and looked at the other two workers digging the wire trough. There was no partition here yet, and the huge space looked empty. Except for the numerous pillars, there was no end in sight. Xiao Lin muttered again, slowed down his speaking speed, and after speaking, he didn't care whether Zhang Chen heard it clearly or not, he just walked away. Zhang Chen heard clearly. What Xiao Lin said was, "Here it comes again, making us late again." What's coming again? Did the two of them often confront each other like this before? Zhang Chen wanted to ask Xiao Lin, but Xiao Lin disappeared behind some pillars. Zhang Chen shook his head, smiled, and went downstairs. Zhang Chen wanted to take a look at the temporary lobby in front. The work there had been completed. Zhang Chen wanted to see the effect after the marble floor was laid this afternoon. Zhang Chen passed through the first floor of the mall, and before he reached the hotel lobby, he saw a familiar figure passing by from the connection between the hotel lobby and the mall. Zhang Chen quickly quickened his pace and walked to the hotel lobby. He saw the familiar figure standing in front of the elevator, waiting for the elevator. Zhang Chen saw her profile clearly. Yes, it was indeed Xiao Zhao. The security guard, doorman, bellman, and waiter in the lobby all knew Zhang Chen. It was inconvenient for Zhang Chen to shout here, especially to a girl. He could only hurry up and walk over, but Xiao Zhao had already entered the elevator. Zhang Chen hurried away after a few steps. It was still too late. Xiao Zhao's elevator was already going up. Zhang Chen quickly pressed the button, and the elevator door next to him opened. Zhang Chen was not in a hurry to get into the elevator, but watched Xiao Zhao's elevator stop. He saw clearly that it was stopping at Wanghai restaurant, and then Zhang Chen entered the elevator. Zhang Chen got out of the elevator and walked to the door of the restaurant. He saw Xiao Zhao walking through the hall and heading towards the box at the back. The two greeters at the entrance of the hall knew Zhang Chen and said to him, "Mr. Zhang, the box Mr. Fu wants is no one." They thought Zhang Chen was also one of the guests Mr. Fu invited today, so they told him the box number. They used want instead of book. A simple change of one word showed the host's qualifications. Zhang Chen quickly said, "Okay, I know, I'll go there myself." Zhang Chen walked through the hall and walked to the back corridor. He saw Xiao Zhao turning around and ducking into the box. Zhang Chen couldn't follow him anymore. "Mr. Fu didn't call Zhang Chen today. He didn't call you and you showed up. If you are hit by him in his box or near the box, there will be many bad associations." Zhang Chen asked the waiter standing in the corridor softly, "Has Mr. Fu arrived?" The waiter said no. Zhang Chen quickly said, "I will come back later." He turned around and walked out. The greeters at the door looked a little strange when they saw him coming out. Zhang Chen told them that they had something to do with me below. When Zhang Chen walked to the elevator, there was already a greeter who hurriedly took a few steps to help him press the button. After getting in the elevator, Zhang Chen went downstairs in frustration, but his heart was full of mixed emotions. Zhang Chen remembered that Xiao Zhao told him that when she arrived in Haikan, she rarely went out. In the past, Mr. Fu only had social events and needed to bring people to the show, and the ones he brought were only Xiaoning, not Xiao Zhao. The men in Haikan are very gangsters. They all like to drink flower wine, and no one takes it seriously. Just like Mr. Fu doesn't shy away from organizing such a drinking party in his own hotel. When everyone is keen on drinking flower wine, a person who doesn't like drinking flower wine will look out of place, making people feel that it is difficult to deal with, or that he is being serious. The people who go to such a banquet are all men, and the men will bring their women. None of these women are their wives or girlfriends. It seems that Mr. Fu has organized such a banquet again today. They are all his personal friends, but why would he take Xiao Zhao instead of Xiaoning? Zhang Chen knew that Xiaoning used to accompany Mr. Fu to these banquets where he took turns being the host and ate almost all over Haikan. When he arrived at the lobby below and exited the gate, Zhang Chen felt gloomy. He looked at the time and saw that it was already past 7 o'clock, so he did not go to the temporary lobby, but turned right and walked towards the east direction of civilization. As soon as it gets dark, there are more and more people on Haixia Road. On the sidewalk, there are people from Taizhou, Zhejiang province who shine shoes. They are more than 10 meters apart. When there is no business, they sit on each other's seats and talk with each other in that way. They shouted and chatted in Taizhou dialect. Their voices have to pass through the countless pretty girls standing in the middle before they reach each other, and the other party's voice also has to pass through these countless girls before they come back. If the voices were colored, then these girls would have been there long ago. They dyed it black and gray. No matter how bright the colors are, when many of them are mixed together, they will become either black or gray. These girls stood shoulder to shoulder, but they were all independent individuals. There was no communication, no intimate physical or eye contact with each other. Everyone stood very reserved. They were close to each other, but they did not know each other. Even if they knew each other, when they stood here, they naturally turned into strangers. Now, they are opponents of each other. Who knows if the man who comes over next to inquire about the price is yours or mine? Jiang Chen walked through this colorful scene, but felt extremely depressed and lonely in his heart. Xiao Zhao's figure swayed in his mind, but what swayed was her back as she walked into the elevator and walked into the box from the corridor. No matter how hard she hurried, she couldn't catch up. She didn't know that Jiang Chen was walking towards her. She just knew that he didn't know if she would stop and wait for him. Jiang Chen felt abandoned. Jiang Chen returned to Wenmingdong. The door below was ajar. Jiang Chen pushed the door open and went in. It was dark inside. Jiang Chen didn't need to turn on the light. He walked in and closed the door again behind him. Now when Kejin and the others were busy, Xiaolin was working overtime at the construction site again. The first and second floors were also dark. Jiang Chen walked to the patio, and there was a bright light above, making everything in the patio appear. Jiang Chen didn't need to look up to know that this was the light from the third floor. Jiang Chen felt a little comforted. At least, in this city, there were still people waiting for him to eat. Jiang Chen walked to his door. It was already late. He originally wanted to go upstairs directly. After thinking about it, he opened the door and entered his room. He took a towel and took a quick shower first. Jiang Chen arrived upstairs. The lights in Gu Shufang's restaurant were on with warm colors. Gu Shufang was sitting at the dining table, still holding the book The Story of the Sahara in her hand and reading. On the table, there were two exquisite a small casserole, and 3 plates, each with a plate attached to prevent the dishes from getting cold. Gu Shufang smiled when she saw Jiang Chen coming in. Neither of them spoke. Jiang Chen sat down opposite her. The chair was a rattan armchair with cushions and cushions on it. It felt very comfortable to sit on. After Jiang Chen sat down, he looked at Gu Shufang. Gu Shufang asked, "Why, is the construction site very busy today? I'm afraid the dishes will get cold." Gu Shufang's voice was very soft and light. When Jiang Chen listened, he suddenly felt like crying.